What's up everybody, welcome to Technically Analytics. You can think of this video as an acknowledgement that Ronald Acuna Jr. is really good in 2023. Ronald Acuna Jr. plays for the Atlanta Braves. The Braves, along with Acuna, are my most hated team and player. As a Mets fan, I really can't stand them. However, for the next few minutes, I'll put aside my fandom and just look purely at the baseball greatness that has come from Ronald Acuna Jr. If you follow baseball, you likely have heard of 30-30 seasons or 40-40 seasons. These numbers refer to home runs and stolen bases. Acuna did a 30-30 season in 2019. With the COVID season and then a bad knee injury in 2021, he failed to reach 30-30 in 3 seasons. But in 2023, Acuna broke the 40-40 barrier. He actually shattered it. The last player to hit at least 40 home runs and steal 40 bases was Alfonso Soriano in 2006 for the Washington Nationals. Only 5 players are in the 40-40 club. As you might guess, mostly from the steroid era. Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, and Jose Canseco, who was the first to do it in 1988. But this video isn't about history, it's about the present. At present, Acuna is having one of the best MLB seasons that anyone outside of Mike Trout could have. Everyone knew Acuna was capable of these kinds of numbers, but he hadn't really shown it yet. Acuna's 41 home runs and 72 stolen bases are a record, thanks in part to the new rules adjusting base sizes and limiting pitchers' ability to pick off. It clearly allowed Acuna to obliterate the 40 stolen bases in 40-40. Before we look at Acuna's season stats, let's take a look at a few stat leaderboards to see how you compare to the rest of the league. We'll start with power speed. Power speed is basically home runs and stolen bases put into a formula which makes no sense to me. Here it is on screen. But anyway, the results of this formula put Acuna on the top by nearly 20 points over known speedster Corbin Carroll. Check out my video on the channel. Now let's jump to stolen bases, which Acuna leads with 72. The power speed makes sense when looking at Carroll's 54 steals. Unfortunately, Acuna is also the leader for caught stealing at 14, 6 more than any other player. Acuna leads multiple categories including on-base percentage and OPS. Speaking of OPS, Acuna has a 167 OPS plus, which leads MLB. In a bit of a surprise, he leads in hits and plate appearances. I understand leading in on-base percentage and OPS because in order to hit home runs and steal bases, you need to have power and the opportunity to steal bases. He also leads in at-bats, which is mostly a result of him batting leadoff, but also health. If we zoom out to the big picture, how does Acuna match up in WAR? In offensive WAR, Acuna racked up 8.3 WAR, a fairly sizable lead over Freddie Freeman. However, in total WAR, Acuna loses out to Betts by 0.2. All these different stat leaderboards show Acuna's impressive season. Now, when we look at his season stats, you can see all the bold, which indicate he leads the league. Acuna leads 10 categories in what has to be his best season thus far. I hate to say it, but it might be one of the best seasons in MLB history. I think the rule change probably inflates his stolen bases, but even before the rule change, I thought when healthy, Acuna could be the guy to reach 40-40. One interesting change for Acuna regarding his steal ability is the decreased speed. Acuna was once one of the fastest players in the league. Don't get me wrong, he could still move. His sprint speed was 29.7 in 2018 at age 20. After his injury in 2021, which before the injury was 29.4, it dropped to 28.5 in 2022, and 27.9 in 2023. For context, if we look at his sliders put him at just above average speed. However, speed isn't the only variable when stealing a base. His base running value is at 82. Stolen bases are only part of the 40-40 formula. To end off, let's look at his run chart value just for fun. As you can imagine, Acuna's run values are basically positive on any given pitch, but what pitch should you absolutely avoid throwing him as a pitcher? Turns out, there are a few to stay away from, like forcing fastballs, sinkers, sliders. Don't throw him a curveball either. His highest K percent pitch is a splitter. Somehow he's only seen 58 of those, and nearly half have resulted in a K. I think the takeaway here is similar to looking at stats and leaderboards earlier. Acuna is just having an excellent season. Ronald Acuna Jr. is one of the best players in baseball this season, and it's not really close. It's hard to diss a guy that can do everything right except his defense, which has fallen off dramatically. But I tend to blame that on his knee injury, In my videos, I rarely ever just shit on a player, because it's not productive. Even though I hate Acuna and the fact he plays for my team's biggest rival, I still respect his game tremendously. If Acuna can keep playing like he did this year and for the next couple years, he's got a shot to be an all-time great. Hall of Fame caliber outfielder like Ricky Henderson, Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., etc., etc. Whether I like it or not, I'll be watching Acuna very closely and hoping he fails against my Mets. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe.